Hugh Freeze's inability to win games has this fan base in just pure disbelief.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Lindsay Crosby hanging out with us, and seriously, thank you to Lindsay. Lindsay had heart surgery like 2 days prior to us recording this, so
on Friday,
W's in the comments for Lindsay, powering through and wanting to talk about the crap that we saw Saturday night. Absolutely insane. Lindsay, like after losses, we've seen frustration and we've seen anger. But now, like, we're at this point of just like pure disbelief throughout the fan base, where like you're talking to other Auburn fans, and it's just like you want to talk about it, but you don't even really know what to say because it's so bad and it's so sad, and it's just an awful, crummy situation for literally everyone involved. I mean, the program has gotten to a point where you have to feel sorry for the players. You have to feel sorry for like the supporting coaching staff to some extent. There's going to be some picking and choosing there. But like, goodness, I mean, even the picture of the post-game presser where it's Hugh Freeze and then Jackson Arnold's just sitting next to Hugh Freeze slumped over. And it's just like, why are we doing that to this kid? Like all of it, it just seems so messed up, so wrong, and there's so many stats that we can just kind of say over and over and over again, and we'll touch on several of them. But this falls on one person, and that is the head coach, and that is Hugh Freeze, and I just cannot believe that it's gotten to this point.
I can't believe that I'm going to kind of correct you a little bit. I can't believe it's been at this point now. I mean,
sure.
It's Auburn has not figured out how to win conference football games. And the thing that's hard about this is you're a couple seasons in, and Hugh Freeze has less conference wins than Gus Malzahn had in the season that got him fired. I mean, like, what is just more, I think, even worse, and I know we're going to get to this in just a few minutes. I'm not going to go too deep into this. But as you look at situations like Kurt Cignetti at Indiana, and they knocked off Oregon. He's not been there for 4 seasons.
No.
This is his second year there.
Yes.
And it's like they made the college football playoff last year in his first season. They're now 6-0. They knocked off Oregon. They're a top 10 team. And it's like, why has the talent you recruited and everything else not translated into wins at Auburn when it seemingly is doing it for everybody else?
Right.
At what point do you just decide it's not going to translate into wins and you move on?
Yeah, and you're seeing it on the defensive side of the ball, but I mean, Auburn's offense with his personnel, I don't care what your opinion is of Jackson Arnold. Like, I don't think Jackson Arnold's inherently awful. Now, does he struggle with some things? Sure.
Yeah.
But I think there are several offensive coaches in the SEC that could make a different offense around him with the pieces that Auburn has and the offensive line and the running backs that Auburn has. And so like that's just been frustrating. But when it comes down to it, it's just been straight losing. Nathan King tweeted out Sunday morning that Auburn in its history has never started 0-3 in SEC play in 3 straight seasons. But that's all we know under Hugh Freeze. That's all we know under Hugh Freeze is starting 0-3 in SEC play. That's awful. You're 4-17 overall. You're 5-14 in the conference. You're 7-6 versus P4 teams. And Jordan-Hare Stadium, despite all of this stuff, despite a half decade of mediocrity, you can go a little more than that if you want to count the last few years of Gus, whatever. But still having the reputation of being this force, this place that's so tough for visiting teams to win. Hugh Freeze is 9-9 at home. And that's sad. That's sad. The Auburn fan base, the Auburn players, everyone deserves better than this.
If we're giving great tweets that we saw, and I don't remember who this was, but there was the tweet on Saturday night about seniors at Auburn. So students, right?
Okay.
Have seen Auburn win the following SEC home games. And before I name them, guess how many I'm going to give you here.
Current seniors
at Auburn University. You're a senior this season.
Well, Freeze has 5
SEC home games.
Oh, SEC home games.
I'm gonna cut you off for the sake of time. It's 4. You beat Missouri and Texas A&M in 2022. The second one was Cadillac as a head coach. You beat Mississippi State in 2023. You beat Texas A&M in 2020. That's it. 4 home games in the SEC in 4 years.
And it's the way you're losing them is, for a while, I think we could say bad luck. But when it's every single time out there, you have to look at the common denominator. And that's Auburn. Auburn's on the losing side of these games.
Yep.
I don't care about the pick 6 against Oklahoma, all the interceptions against Cal, and in the first half against Arkansas, and you falling apart, your defense falling apart against Missouri, or you having a double-digit lead against Georgia the 2 times you've hosted them at Jordan-Hare Stadium, the 4th and 31, whatever we want to call it, with Oklahoma getting screwed by the refs, or, the ineptitude of the offense against Texas A&M. Like, that list is too long for it to just be like catastrophically unlucky.
Yeah. Like,
there's a trend and a pattern, and it's your inability to win at Auburn. And he said it after the game, Lindsay. It's like, yeah, we don't know how to win. We keep finding ways to lose. And I'm like, that's your fault. You're the head coach. It's year 3.
This is what I don't understand. If it was me, I would simply just teach them how to win. Everybody else in college football does it. I don't know why we haven't tried that.
Yeah,
have we tried that?
Teach them how to win. Yeah.
Have we tried that? Apparently not.
I mean, what you're doing isn't it, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's clearly not it.
And the biggest thing to me is the inability to overcome adversity. Right? Everybody's going to have calls go against you from time to time. Everybody's going to have a bad luck interception, a fumble that probably shouldn't have been, a muff punt, whatever. But Auburn, especially when it's something that's foisted on you by someone else, right? The officials made a mistake. Lord knows they've made plenty of them against Auburn this season. Auburn just falls apart. And it's not like it all comes from Hugh Freeze. And I think you can point to Hugh Freeze calling a timeout early in the second half, trying to get a review of a targeting call. Like, wasted a timeout trying to get a targeting call, and they didn't even review the play.
Right.
And it's like, buddy, no, focus on the next play. You can ask them for it. Don't blow a timeout.
I'm actually really proud of the Auburn fan base for acknowledging, we got screwed, and the timeout thing and Kirby lying about it. It's objectively funny. All of the sports world is kind of laughing at him for it, which is great.
Yeah.
But Auburn fans aren't there's frustration there, but the disbelief is that you have 40 yards of and half of those came in a garbage time drive that was just a joke. So,
in the
there's
words
hot
of Daryl,
seat. What's up?
I was going to say, in the words of Daryl, 2 things can be true at once. And I'm very proud of, to your point, of the Auburn fan base acknowledging, they got screwed over. But even if they hadn't been screwed over, 15 yards of offense in the second half wasn't going to do it.
Yeah. There's obviously discussion, what is happening throughout college football. Is that a sign? Is that good or bad for Auburn and Hugh Freeze? I actually think it's a little bad for Auburn. And I want to share my thoughts on that in just a moment, right here on Locked on Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Peloton. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with a brand new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus powered by Peloton IQ. It's their most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you real-time guidance and endless ways to improve and move, whether you're running, lifting, or cross-training with your favorite instructors. This is training reimagined. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools to help you plan, stay motivated, and reach peak performance. I love how customizable it is. I love how every experience seems to be different. You're never going to get bored working out with Peloton. And I also love that you can do it on your time, as well as the option for live classes. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward. Explore the new Peloton cross-training tread today at onepeloton.com. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Square. Not only is it a fantastic shape, it's also what most small businesses are running on throughout our country. Your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. There are certain businesses, we all have them, throughout the neighborhood that are places that become an extension of home, whether it's the sports bar dedicated to playing Auburn games, or the places with the best wings in town, or, obviously, the coffee shop where, they finish their order for you, or your order for you, just because you go there so often. So Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. You can go to square.com/go/lockedoncollege to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy you did. Square, see you in the neighborhood. Lindsay Crosby powering through on this Monday edition of Locked on Auburn, recovering from heart surgery and then getting his heart ripped out. You're married to a Georgia Bulldog. I hope she didn't bark at you. I hope she did not bark at you on Saturday.
She's technically a double dog because she has 2 degrees from Georgia.
That's sickening.
I can confirm she did not bark.
She's so pleasant. And then every now and then I forget that she went, it's like, goodness gracious.
Better than that. I could not stand to be with somebody who actually barked at human beings.
Yeah. So obviously a lot of discussion about the college football world when it comes to, who's going to get fired in the hot seats and all that, with James Franklin being fired at Penn State. Honestly, surprised they did it. I think this is bad for Auburn because you want to be the premier and best job any offseason. And I don't know. I think Penn State is positioning themselves to be the most attractive job this offseason. The Auburn job is tough. Penn State clearly ready to shell out a stupid amount of money if they're going to pay his ridiculous buyout. Mm-hmm. But even if it's not like, you don't really want to have to compete with other jobs. You want to be like, okay, who's the place that Auburn's going to call? And I don't think that's what's going to happen. Now it's going to be, all right, if they do move away from Hugh Freeze at some point, if they lose to Missouri or whatever, I do think that discussion is like, okay, are the top folks going to Penn State? Are they going to want to go to Auburn? What happens if Florida fires Billy Napier? You're going to be competing with some big brands in the college football world. Penn State was in the college football playoff last year.
Yeah.
So I think that whole situation is interesting. I think it muddies the water a little bit for Auburn in this coaching carousel, which I don't think is ideal.
Yeah. I will say from a brand name perspective, maybe not a football perspective, but UCLA is also a big brand. They fired a coach.
They're going to have money. Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah. It's less than ideal. And at the same time, I don't necessarily know how much it's going to directly impact Auburn because it feels like these are different jobs, right? It feels like these are programs in different situations, conference you're in, where the program is. And the frustrating thing is Auburn should not be a slow return, right? The talent's here. Like Auburn has the talent, but based on results, you haven't been good in 4 or 5 years now, at least. It feels like you have farther to go, even though you don't really have that. Whoever it is, though, has to be great at talent retention because you have the talent here.
Assuming Auburn moves on.
Assuming Auburn moves on from Hugh Freeze. Yeah. And I will say the one thing that I can appreciate, right? It's finding the silver lining on the turd sandwich is Hugh Freeze has not used the talent gap excuse this year. He's not talked about we don't have the talent to compete.
Sure.
I mean, that's right. Back-to-back top 10 recruiting classes, great transfer portal hauls. It's just like, it's clear at this point, it's the mentality of the team and it's the coaching. And who is that mentality installed by? Usually it's the coach and the culture. You got to fix that.
I mean, he can't hide behind it. Yeah, which he's not hiding behind it, to your point.
Yeah.
But like the offense just being so bad. I mean, I can't get over. I mean, I've said it 6 times, I feel like, at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like the most important half of his tenure at Auburn, he couldn't. I think we got 1 first down before that last drive where they got 2. So it's like, even if you count that, you got 3 first downs in the second half. I mean, it just feels so once it became 10-10,
it felt like it was over.
I don't think there was one Auburn fan that was like, "Oh, we're still going to win this game." I don't think there was one. If you are, I'd love to speak to you. Like, what did you think was going to happen?
How much had you been drinking when you thought that? And in the press conference, to your point, he said that Auburn needs to be creating and I'm going to read the quote here. Quote, creating a mentality that believes you're going to and finding ways to do your assignment when it's called on in critical moments. But you know how you create the mentality that you're going to find a way to win this game? Finding a way to win the game. And Auburn just hasn't done that in 3 years under the man.
No. I mean, the A&M game is it's the outlier, right?
Yeah.
The 4 overtime win. It's like, that was awesome. And it really felt like we were going in the right direction.
You stormed the field when it happened too. I mean, I remember they stormed the field.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like a moment in time that we were going to be able to look back at and say, this is it. This was when the ascension started.
When everything clicked.
Because up to that point, everything was on schedule. And this is why I'm so crushed by all of this, is because it seemed like he did everything regarding the rebuilding the right way. He did it from the high school ranks. We're like, this is the right way to do it long term. Mm-hmm. Let's be patient, because he's right. And I still think he's right. I still think that's the right way to do it.
Yeah.
And we're patient, and he gets the best roster Auburn's had in maybe a decade. I think from top to bottom, it's better than 2017. I think there's some positions you could debate, but from top to bottom,
yeah.
I mean, just all the freshmen that are still playing. It's like, gosh, there's so many good players on this team, especially on the defense. And then it's like, I didn't think for a second it would be him not being able to actually coach and him not being able to play call and all. I just didn't think that would be it. I didn't think that would be the hang up. I thought it would be, we can recruit well, but we can't quite keep up with Georgia and Bama. That's what I thought the hang up would be.
Yeah.
It's like, no, if you coach even a little bit better against Georgia, you're in a spot to win that game. So that's not it. It's crushing, Lindsay. It's absolutely crushing, because the issue is it's something that I don't think he can fix at this point in his career.
Yeah. I've been hesitant to talk about this because it's kind of kicking while you're down, but everybody talks about how Auburn dominated the first half, right? 237 to 20, right? On yardage. 75 of those yards came on the opening scripted drive. And from that point on, you didn't actually have that much offensive production. It looks good because Georgia had practically nothing, but you didn't actually do much. And I remember being frustrated in the Gus Malzahn days about how they would look awesome on the first drive in the scripted drive. Yeah. And then when they got into having to call the plays live, they could not figure out something that would work. And it felt like, yes, you had a chance to punch a ball in right for the half. But even then, it didn't feel like the offense was clicking that well when you were producing. And then Georgia adjusted at halftime and you weren't producing at all.
Yeah. Another angle for the hot seat discussion, and then Auburn somehow favored against Missouri. That's next, right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 to get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5. If it hits, you unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Auburn, it just updated. I'm refreshing the page. It just updated before our very eyes here. Auburn is now a 2.5-point favorite against Missouri, 16th ranked Missouri this weekend. Over under is 44.5. That is wild to me. It opened at 1.5. They've got a point added their direction. So I guess there's money going down on the Tigers. So take that for what it's worth. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com, download the FanDuel app today, and get started. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Kia Autosport of Columbus. Summer's over, but the savings never stop at Kia Autosport of Columbus. Drive home the all-new 2025 Kia K4 sedan. More style, more space, more tech, all for less. You can also grab the last remaining of the 2025 Kia Sorento models with available 0% APR for 48 months. And don't forget, all new Kias come with tires for life and a lifetime powertrain warranty. Head to Kia Autosport Columbus, just off of Whittlesey Boulevard in Columbus, Georgia, and mention Locked on Auburn, and you receive $500 off any new Kia. Just ask your sales associate for details. You're welcome. That's Kia Autosport of Columbus, or visit KiaAutosportColumbus.com to browse their full inventory and start saving today. Lindsay, another element of this that I want to discuss, and like, I'm just asking the question on like, is it inherently fair? Is it fair for the fan base? This is somewhat a hypothetical question. Is it fair for the fan base to all be calling for Hugh Freeze, which seems pretty unified? It's more unified now than it was for Gus. It's more unified now than it was for Harsin.
Which is wild to think about.
It is wild to think about. The Harsin stuff had like off-field controversy too. This is pretty much all on-field, which is the way it should be. I don't know. Like, I picked him to lose all 3 of these games going into the season. And so is it fair? Like, you and I were talking a little bit beforehand, like, with the James Franklin thing, like they fired him and he made the playoff last year and after a 3-3 start, like no forgiveness whatsoever. But like once you're a playoff team, your expectation is to make the playoff team. And that's what they were. They were preseason #1 on several polls. If not, they were pretty much consensus top 2, top 3. And so their expectation was that, and he's not going to be anywhere close to it. Auburn's expectation by most parts were 8-4. And I had Auburn going 8-4 to start the season, losing these 3 games. And I still think 8-4 is actually kind of possible if you can have somewhat of a decent offense. Now, it's a big if at this point. I'm not predicting that now, but I'm saying it is possible.
Yeah.
So is it fair that we're at this point from a conversation standpoint and from a fan base standpoint?
I think the difference here is how it happened. Right.
Yeah, I agree.
And just the fact that not only did you lose, you looked awful. Like it's not just the fact that you lost the football game. It's the way you lost.
Yeah.
Like
sure.
if Auburn had gone out there against Georgia and had taken a 17 or let's assume it's a 17-0 lead.
Yeah.
Georgia comes storming back in the second half. Auburn loses some defenders to injury, or cramps, whatever. They're fine. Their health is okay. And then has some bad luck. They get the bad luck from the officiating. They have like an interception because it bounces off an official's shoulder or something.
Gosh, there's so many ifs. Okay.
And like the offense looks good, but they lose and it's fluky. That's one thing.
Sure.
But it's now consistent in 3 conference games. You look like you don't know how to call an offense.
Correct.
And
there's no plan.
I would argue that if these games were more competitive, and I say that knowing that 2 of them were 1-score games, but if these games were more competitive, it maybe isn't as universal of calling for Hugh Freeze's head. But they've looked terrible. And there's no getting around that. There's no excusing that they've looked bad. And they've looked bad at the thing he is supposed to be good at.
Correct.
That's the reason why it's almost universal. You can lose all 3 of these games and be safe in your job if you look good while doing it.
Yeah.
You don't. Not only are you losing, it's a miserable watch.
It's miserable. There's no question about it. It's miserable. Auburn, a 2.5-point favorite against Missouri, according to our friends at FanDuel right now. That is crazy to me.
Yes.
That is crazy. Yes, Missouri lost against Alabama. I thought they looked pretty good. I'm shocked by this. They were begging you to take Georgia last week, and they were pretty close. Like, in fact, if Gunnar Stockton does the right football play and goes down, and they could just kneel it on like the 1 yard line or whatever, it would have been a 3-point game. So like they've been all over it. I just, I think as an Auburn fan, this should excite you. I think it should be good. But because FanDuel's been all over Auburn, they've nailed it. They've nailed Auburn's game so far this year, with the exception of Baylor. But man, I just, I was picking Auburn to beat Missouri last week. Like going into Georgia, I'm like, I think they lose to Georgia. I think they beat Missouri. Now I don't know. Can you score 3 times against Missouri? I genuinely don't know.
Can you score 3 times against anybody who's in a Power 5 conference?
You can score 3 times against Kentucky. You can score 3 times against Arkansas.
We'll find out. We'll find out in 2 or 3 weeks. In 2 or 3 weeks. It's I think a lot of this is the respect that the defense gets and the respect that Jordan-Hare gets. And that place was electric all night Saturday. And not just because Cam Newton was there. It's been electric now for Hugh Freeze's entire tenure. And you've reached the point where he doesn't necessarily, like, the effort that he's putting forward doesn't necessarily necessitate that kind of reaction, and he's still getting it. Like, I'm trying to think a good way to say this. Like, there are other schools where attendance would be terrible right now.
Correct.
In year 3 of a coach with a team that's now 500 that cannot seem to do anything in its own conference, there are schools that would just have terrible attendance, and Auburn does not, because the Auburn family continues to show up. That line to me is a little bit of respect for the defense, respect for Jordan-Hare Stadium and what those fans can do.
Yeah.
But the over-under total being so low, it's like 44 points, 44 and a half, is a sign of having no respect for what Auburn can do offensively. None.
Gosh, it's so sad.
They're begging you to throw away your money by taking the over.
Yeah.
I don't think you could set that number low enough for me to take the over against anybody that I did not know had an amazing offense. You could tell me it was 35 points. I'd be like, I still kind of want to take the under here. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I just have no faith that Auburn can score 20 points this Saturday. I have no faith in it.
No.
And that sucks. You have Cam Coleman. You have Eric Singleton. You invested so much in this offensive line. You've got Malcolm Simmons. You've got 2 running backs that you still haven't really figured out how to use, but I think they're pretty good. Like, and you've got the guy that you wanted in the portal at quarterback. You got the guy you picked. It's just,
Zach,
it's so sad.
You didn't point out the number one person the game plan is built around, tight end Brandon Frazier. You didn't point that out. That's your fault.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you have all of his offensive talent, the way to build a game plan is to build it around Brandon Frazier and to not be able to move the ball when he leaves in the second half because of some sort of injury or something. Is when you have a game-breaking talent like Brandon Frazier, you have to make sure that you scheme everything around him, not the future NFL wide receivers, not them. No, that's what Georgia would expect you to do, is to throw to the best players on the field. We're not going to do that, Zach.
Yeah.
Brandon Frazier is the key to everything.
All right, I'm too sad. We got to be done. Lindsay, how can people check out everything you've got going on, and how can they say, hey, I hope you feel better soon?
I'm on social media at Crosby Baseball. I actually put a photo up on Friday after the surgery. It's kind of funny. You can find all of the Braves content, bravestoday.com, the Braves Today podcast, as well as all the Auburn baseball stuff, thebarnauburn.com. I'm excited to get back in Plantation Park.
Yes. Please like the video. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.